streets.
CDC recently released a promising report featuring a historic reduction in overdose deaths nationwide, nearly 30% over the last year. And I expect that number to get even better when the borders are almost perfectly secure, that you and the President have engineered. Please share with us your idea of the importance of having that secure border and what it might mean for the fight against fentanyl and others.
Well, it's going to make it a lot tougher for these cartels to get into our country. Sinaloa, there are so many major cartels in our country. Just within the last few days, we arrested a Sinaloa cartel member in Greensboro, North Carolina. What else? 27 members of TDA who had come right across our border were arrested in Oregon, Florida, and New York. And all these, and when I talk about the gangs and the border, these are not people coming to America for a better life. TDA, MS-13, they are terrorist organizations. They are highly organized. Their structure is like a corporate structure. They have, in D.C. a couple weeks ago, we arrested one of the top members of MS-13 living half an hour outside of Virginia. I mean, outside of D.C., in Virginia. They have infiltrated our country. It's organized crime at its worst. They're dealing drugs. They're dealing firearms. This guy had 5 firearms on him, living in a very nice residential neighborhood. And they have an incredible corporate structure. And the higher-ups in the organization, the leaders, insulate themselves. So we worked with Governor Youngkin in Virginia, and it's everyone working together. It's a task force that we all started partnering with states who want to work with us. And that's how we're securing our borders, by getting the people who are already here off of our streets, and that's stopping the drug flow throughout the country. We also recently sentenced a man who was arrested with 14,500 fentanyl pills, and that was in Washington State. So this stuff is all over our country. It's all over our country, and it's killing our kids, it's killing adults, and people are getting highly addicted. So that's why the securing the borders are of utmost importance. But it's got to be it's multifaceted. You know, we can secure the borders as best we can, but then the drugs are already in our country, and the gangs are already in our country. The cartels are already in our country. So it's keeping Americans safe and getting those violent criminals off our streets.
Well, congratulations on all of those great accomplishments. In February, you announced the arrests of 29 Mexican cartel members, including a kingpin who'd been on the DEA's top 10 list for 4 decades. Congratulations for that effort.
Thank you. Thank you.
By the way, that individual was accused of killing a DEA agent, Kiki Camarena, in the 1980s. What more can we expect from your department as it tackles these long-standing, deeply rooted criminal organizations?
More of what I've been talking about, more of what you're seeing, and the drug kingpin that you just referenced. I get a credit for a lot, but it's a team effort. It's not. First, it's all Donald Trump. It's his directive, and everything we do is working with him to keep America safe. If you've ever heard that man open his mouth, he is anti-drugs. And so that was, this guy was Rafael Quintera, and this was a lot of hard work by Marco Rubio in the State Department, because he was in Mexico, and he had escaped multiple times. So he killed Kiki Camarena in the 80s. They not only killed him, they tortured him. And Kiki Camarena's family has had to live with this since the 80s. And I got to be part of the phone call to call his widow and his son and tell them that this monster is in custody and was on a plane, and we were all there to greet him when he came back to our country, and will face life in prison. He will be prosecuted in our country, and he will face life in prison. And Kiki's son, Chairman, is a circuit court judge, and we got to FaceTime with his son and talk to his son. And a little trivia is that after his father was tortured and killed, Mrs. Camareno gave her son, who's now the judge, her husband's handcuffs from DEA when he was an agent. And they had them engraved. And guess who was handcuffed with his father's handcuffs in the U.S. of A.? Not a great story. So it may take a while sometimes, but they are getting to see justice. And hearing this widow crying for something that happened to her husband in the 80s and her son, who's now a judge, that's why we do what we do. Yeah. If we can save one life, lock up one bad guy every single day, then hopefully we're making a difference. And the same, thank you, with what you're doing throughout our country to fight for victims of crime, and all of you.
President Trump has designated several of these cartel groups and several other people as foreign terrorist organizations. What does that mean?
So it's what I described for TDA, Transnational, and MS-13. MS-13 are from El Salvador, TDA are from Venezuela. Maduro opened up the prisons and let all of these people walk into our country from Venezuela. No more. And when they are alien enemies of our country for all the reasons we've been talking about, for the reasons you're here. You know, they're killing kids with the drugs. They're killing adults every day with the drugs that they're bringing into this country, the guns that they're smuggling into this country. They're organized crime. MS-13, and what we're able to do is we're charging them with RICO, with racketeering, because they are criminal organizations and they are conspiring to destroy American lives. So we've been prosecuting them that way. I just talked about the one we arrested in Virginia. In Miami, I was in Miami, all the days run together. I think that was 2.5 weeks ago in Miami. But there were, and I met with the victims' families there. There was a horrific murder where a young man was not a member of the gang, but to rise up in these gangs, to become in the top leadership, you have to kill someone. So it was a cold case. It had been around for a very long time. And these 4 individuals, there were about 11, but 4 were still on the run. And they captured them. All FBI did a great job working with DEA, working with Homeland. Everyone works together. It's a team effort. But they captured these 4 guys. And so what they did to this victim, we had to use an interpreter. I had the families in with us, and these moms were just crying, so relieved that these monsters are off the street now because they're charged with the murder of her son. One of them coerced him to come somewhere with him, and then they stabbed him. I saw the pictures. I saw the crime scene photos over 100 times. And these guys have been on the run for a very long time, and we got them off the street. One was living in the Northeast. I can't remember which state now. One was living right in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area still. And one, have you all heard of the Villages? It's a high-end retirement community in Florida. Yeah. Ready for this? One was hanging drywall in the Villages, living among us. And they were able to capture them, catch them. They're now in custody, and they will be prosecuted as the terrorists and the murderers that they are. And they thought they got away with it.